Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Elite Exchange. My name is Aryan, and I'm the host for the show. Today, we've got a special one, as we are going to be heading to the Syosset Nebula Robotics Invitational, and we are going to have the opportunity of interviewing all the other teams that are going to be there with us. So can you guys describe basically how your robot works this year?
Sure. So basically we have, as far as like overall robot layout goes, we have a same side intake and shooter. So the rings come in our intake right here, which is like adjustable upwards. It kind of bounces, which helps a lot in terms of making sure we get traction on the wheels. And then it goes up through our intake, which has a series of belts on it. So we have a series of wheels and belts which pull it, get it into the robot, and then transport it from the front of the robot into our magazine, which is right here. And then from the magazine, we drive where we want to shoot, and then we tilt upwards to the desired angle. And then we turn the shooter motor on, and then we have a series of servos. So one is the wall that goes downwards. That prevents the ring from going in too early, right here. And then we have kind of a flicker right here that pushes them into our shooter. Our shooter itself, we have two motors, which are coupled together with go build our round belts, which is pretty nice, low friction. Two motors give us faster acceleration. And then also our shooter pivots on a single servo, which is, you might think that's a lot of load for a single servo. So we actually added a spring, which takes off most of the load of the robot, load of the shooter. And then also the pivot for the shooter also doubles as our pivot for our wobble grabber. So our wobble grabber is right here, kind of in the vertical position, but if we want to pick up a wobble goal, we move the shooter vertically, and then you would pick up the wobble goal, grab it, make the shooter vertical again, and then you can deposit it as such.
Alright, so we're back with Syosset Syndicate, which we had a few episodes back. So can you guys explain the design of your robot, how it works?
Okay, so the robot over here, we got our intake. So it starts off here, the rings come in, and it's just directly driven up to where the flywheel is. There's a little servo here that stops the rings, so it doesn't touch the flywheel yet. You can hold up to 3 rings, and then a directly driven flywheel with a 6,000 RPM motor. That'll launch it up into the high goal. Over here is our wobble goal grabber. We have a little wedge that helps ease the wobble in, and then we close in with the servo and bring it back up. We had 2 sensors for distance sensing. You can see one snapped off on our earlier matches. We won't be using them. We also have a camera here for looking at the number of rings in the field in the autonomous, but we're mainly using the camera on our phone over here because it'll be easier to just drive by.
And we also have these 3D printed parts, one to hold the battery, one to hold the phone, just so they're easy to access.
And they're also designed.
They're also designed for the number on them.
So can you guys explain the design of your robot this season?
Yeah, sure. So our robot, down here we have our intake system. This mechanism acts as a lever, or wall rather. So when the ring gets pushed up against these wheels spin to lift up the ring, and the wall mechanism acts as a wall so the ring can flip up. The zip ties then spin and fling the ring into the elevator system, which...
So then we have the gecko wheel, which is the expanding wheels, with the gear ratio is 3 to 1. And obviously time development.
Alright, thank you. So how does your team feel like you guys did this?
Well, considering we were mostly freshmen building this, I think we did pretty great.
Yeah, it's very
this
impressive.
was all our first competitions, our first time building a robot.
Our first time with the Go Build a Kit.
Yep, right, go build a kit, which actually helped a lot.
That's really cool. So are you guys excited for next year?
Absolutely.
Alright, that's great to hear. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Alright, so we've got the president of the robotics club and one of the fellow coaches from Syosset, Mr. Hagen. So first question to Mr. Hagen. Currently, we are still forced to hold this invitational outdoors while maintaining social distancing and wearing masks. Do you think we're going to be starting to get back to normal next year?
I sure hope so. I think that will happen. We're seeing a decrease in these cases, and here at Syosset, kids are safe, the teachers are safe, and everyone's following the protocols. I foresee that happening.
Thank you. Do you think this event lived up to expectations? Has it been going well so far?
I'd say more so. We're so impressed with the way everything's been coordinated. Everyone is having a great time. Everyone is here to have fun, and that's exactly what's happening.
And now we also got President and one of the organizers for the event. So, after a long period of planning, would you say the scrimmage went as a success?
So it's actually not a scrimmage, it's actually invitational. I would say it was a huge success. It looks like teams are having fun, competing together. There's like that feeling of intensity that you get from the comp, and that's really what we were aiming for. Obviously the scores, they're not where we want them to be, but that's not the point of today. So I would say after like at least more than 3 months of planning, it's good.
And how does it feel to complete your last outreach?
Well, actually, we didn't need a notebook any of this because it doesn't matter because we're not competing against, so it doesn't matter. So technically it's not outreach, but technically it's good for the for you guys. So it does feel really good, yeah.
Now, follow-up question. I saw you just kidnapped a pizza. What are your plans for this pizza?
I'm gonna devour that pizza.
My.